Obviously, high expectations for your group for good reason with the experience and stuff like that. How have those guys kind of embraced it, and you know the options seem like they're kind of endless in getting those guys involved, but how they kind of embrace the expectations that you and people outside have put on them.
Yeah, that's a good. I mean, I think they've done a great job. I mean, the big thing is obviously coming out of spring. It's kind of you can go one of two ways. You can listen to everybody telling you how good you are, which I think there's a good part to that. Be confident, but also understand that nobody cares. And in 2018, it's a whole new slate. You know what you did last year, what you didn't do doesn't matter. And so how they worked, all of it, this past summertime shows me that it's like that I'm excited where they're at. I'm excited where they're going. But yeah, I mean that's a big thing. That's a big part of it. Is just it's the humble and hungry that we always preach. Be humble in that. Hey, I'm trying to I'm trying to earn my spot every rep, and never satisfied. If I have phenomenal game, phenomenal practice, just trying to get that in the ring because it is hard. And even talking to them, people in the dorms, all these guys telling them they're good. And there's a lot of guys on our team that are getting told that. But staying humble and hungry is the key.
Does it help at your position when you have the depth that you do?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. And now, obviously, with Sam Whitney being healthy again, and we got some being able to have a little bit more of a, hey, we've got because competition breeds everything, in my opinion. And so being able to have some guys compete against each other and not being satisfied with just either being the number two or being competing for being the best guy in that room, I think that's a big part of it too.
What makes Curtis Weaver such a unique person or football player? Take that however you want.
Yeah. Gosh, you guys got 45 minutes.
No. Here we go.
That's a great question. He has a phenomenal heart. He's extremely engaging. I mean, you guys, he's fun to be around. He's got a personality that'll light up a room, good or bad. He's one of those guys in class that I don't know if it. He's great, exactly. But he's also very smart. He's diligent. And so his personality just breezes through him. He's super lighthearted. He's that guy that until he when he walks in a room, guys just can't wait to either mess with him or hang out with him. You catch Kurt not smiling, something's up. And so which I love that being around. And so I say his personality is just engaged in that way. He's obviously a kid that's extremely talented. Also has to work on a lot of different stuff too. I think he's only going to get better and starting to see his maturity because a lot of things for him is just growing up maturity in regards just to taking it one rep at a time, not getting too down or too high, and just stuff you learn by playing. Last year was his first year playing. But I think he's just personality-wise, he's a unique kid, but also he's got a unique skill set. He's a skilled football player that still needs to grow in a lot of different things. And I know the question you're answering is because I even sometimes ask myself that, but he's, we took him in the other studs to lunch the other day, and my wife was just kind of like, Curtis is a cool guy. I'm like, he is. He's a cool kid. He's fun to be around. But there are those times maybe he'd say something that you're like, what? Yeah. But he's he's got a great heart, loves people.
How do you try to kind of maintain, that when someone first steps on the field and produces like he does, how do you try to keep, I don't want to say it from, like you said, you don't want to get too high or too low, but how do you try to maintain, like, you had a great start, but still you got to keep it going, you got to, or whatever, but how do you try to foster that with someone that when their production off the bat is so immense?
Yeah, right away. For him, I know personally, and he'll be the first to tell you, I mean, on film there's a lot of things he needs to get better at. He is good at some stuff, but there's a lot of things he needs to get. But not even just saying that just to give you guys the easy answer. There are legit things. It's like, and he knows, like, for you to really be the dominant player we can see you continuing to grow into, there's these 1, 2, 3, 4 things you need to continue to get better. And he'll see it, and he'll do it, but then maybe the next play won't. And so it's work on that consistency of it, because he's a phenomenal pass rusher. He's a big kid. He's super athletic. You got a lot of things that he does well, but he could also get a ton better at those things. And so that was our big thing even in the off season, even throughout the season, because probably around, I forgot what week it is, but people are starting to kind of get on this, oh shoot, there's this redshirt freshman, Curtis Weaver, who's having a good season. And so I think it's twofold. I think you breed that confidence to where it's like, hey, if you're on your game, you should be dominant. And that's okay. And if you're not, but if you don't stay humble and stay hungry, you'll be very mediocre. And it's a fine line, especially in this league. If you don't continually work, you'll be pushed by. and you'll get beat out by someone in the same room.
Yeah.
You know.
The guy running around with a 99 is, I don't know why it's funny to me.
No, and that's
I know he came here as a D tackle, but
yeah.
still.
I mean, weekly I'll probably print out some pictures of him from high school when he was about 290 pounds, you know, and he loves it. He's that guy. You know,
he can take it.
He's the guy that goes, if he goes to get a haircut, he'll send a picture and say, "Look at my haircut, guys." You know what I mean? He's just a funny, fun to be around kid. But I'm excited to see him just slowly take steps because he really can. There is a lot he needs to continue to get better at.
You mentioned Sam Whitney coming back, and Sam was a guy that, you know, maybe people didn't really realize it, but he started, I think, 5 of the first 6 games you guys had last season.
Yep.
What about it was him? How did he earn that? From what you recall, that spot, and he seemed like a guy, I guess, especially in the early downs, especially against the run. He seemed like he was talented, but what does Sam Whitney bring to the table that he maybe didn't have the numbers as other two did?
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head. So coming into fall camp, so the spring ball, Jabril the year before had a ton of different injuries, really bad. So didn't play any spring ball, was super banged up. Curtis redshirted, and so Sam was kind of the starting guy. Very strong, very physical in the run game, athletic, also a pretty good pass rusher. And so he came in as a starter. And so Sam brings, he's a very good switch up to Jabril and Curtis in regards to, I mean, he's a 400 and some pound bencher, extremely physical, very diligent, smart football player. And so especially in mixed downs, and he could also on third down pass rush, but he's a very stout run defender. I mean, and that's really what kind of gave him that starting spot initially was, I mean, he's going to set edges, and we always talk about if you win on the edges, you usually win, especially on defense.
How much have you guys thought or talked about, mixing and matching those guys
absolutely.
at the same time?
And that's going to be our big thing, especially going into camp. It was our thing kind of coming out of spring ball. Obviously, Sam didn't do spring ball. But it's going to be, finding ways to get these guys in different positions and find out to create the best matchups for us. Obviously, you only got 11, so figuring out kind of who's the best guys to get in there and how they compete. And obviously, at the violent position it is, you can't play the whole game, and so finding the right reps, and our defensive staff has been talking about that a lot.
How often do you think you got 2 of those guys in the field at the same time last year?
We probably that's a good question. Moving back, it was mainly in kind of mainly on third downs, getting him in there, and so that was kind of what we used, because it was Curtis, especially early on, struggled in some different stuff. He got a lot better at it, and so now we're trying to figure out, okay, especially coming into fall camp, how can we find a way to get the Sams, Curtis, Jabril, Dimitri Washington's a young freshman, and we're excited to see what he can do. Just trying to find those, and like every other position, trying to see, because it's all well and good until the lights come on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, but we are trying to figure out, okay, we got these mountain guys, so what's our best 11 in every situation? If it's more of studs in the game, great. Maybe it might be less, just depending on what's going on.